how much money you want to make. I want you to know exactly what is the anatomy. Write this down on your notes. What is the anatomy of my business? Because I'm going to teach you about the anatomy of lead generation. We're going to dissect lead generation. This is not going to be the same old traditional stuff that you have seen. We are going to dissect lead generation. So I want to know your goals. If I know where you want to get to, I can get you there. And there's one thing I can promise you: if you are coachable, trainable, flexible, if you are an open book, okay, if you're like a parachute that works, it opens, open mind, right? You are going to grow. But I need to know where you want to go, right? And you need to know where you want to go. Number two, the expectations of the skills. You play at the level of your skills. How good are you playing? Write that down. You play at the level of your skills. A lot of people don't know, and they've been in real estate for years. Trust me, I talk to them. I'm out looking for these people. I'm talking to these people because I'm like, you know what? I've got the solution. I've got the solution. Let's light up the chat. If you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat, because this is for you. I want you to be the superstar of this productivity coaching that I am bringing to you. You are the superstar. Okay, so drop your questions in the chat, interact. All questions are valid and they're good. Don't listen to this negative chatter. Oh, that's not a good question. All questions are good. So help me help you, help others. Your skills, you're playing at the level of your skills. Where are your skills? Every morning when you wake up, you have to audit, where's my skill? Where am I weak? Because like I tell everyone that I ever have coached, trained, mentored, your skills are the links on your chain, and you have to come from strength and not from weakness. You have to come from strength and not from weakness. Okay? So always remember this. Where are my skills? And here's what I can tell you. You're going to win at the level of your confidence. You're going to win at the level of your confidence. You're going to win at the level of your confidence. You guys with me? Everybody capturing this? You're going to win at the level of your confidence. You walk into a listing presentation, I promise you, you may not be the top producer. You may not be, the $8 million person. You may not be all that in a bag of chips, but you walk in there with relentless confidence, okay? And you are going to win. And I'm going to teach you, I'm going to show you how you position yourself to be able to perform at a much higher level of confidence. So that is the first step of my productivity model. Everything I've ever taught my agents after the market crash had to do with production. Okay. Not producing is painful. Who's with me? Raise your hand. I don't know if Lucy's camera, Dalia, can you help me? I want to make sure that she's connected and everything's okay. If there's anything we can do to help her, help me with that, please. So I want to make sure that you don't just come to fill up 45 minutes, that you integrate. Write that down. I got to integrate. I got to play all out. If you play all out, I'm telling you, these 45 minutes are going to be 3 months of growth. I promise you. This is not my first rodeo. I started this back in 2018, and everything I started teaching my agents after the market crash was on production. Who's with me? Drop it in the chat. Tell me how you feel when you have no production. Drop it in the chat. How do you feel? What are those pains that you're feeling when there's no production, when there's no paycheck that month, and this month leads to a second month? Drop it in the chat. I want to understand where you're coming from. So expectations, goals, skills, and confidence. Okay. If you don't have the skills, you'll never develop the confidence. And if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to like where you get. So clear expectations. I'm going to tell you my expectations. Is that cool? Can I give you guys my expectations? I want you to be fully present. Drop it in the chat, fully present. I want you to make this a sacred time for yourself, because I want to see you win. Who wants to win? I want you to win. So what does it take to win, Lucy? Listen, this is a sacred time for you. Tell everybody, everybody in your household, the dog, the cat, the birds, everybody in your office. As a matter of fact, if I were you, I would find people in my office and I would say, you know what, we're going to meet up Wednesdays at the office, or this is where, because you need a running partner. You need someone that's going to keep you ignited. So my expectations is you show up, make this a sacred time for yourself, play all out, like full in, head to toe in, like I'm here. Find your playbook, start writing your notes, light up the chat and ask questions. No question is bad. Every question is good. My expectation is you are cameras on means connection. We come from 3 years of everybody showing up on Zooms with black bags over their head. That's what we call them in my world, right? If cameras off, looks like you walk into a meeting with a black bag on your head. Could you imagine me walking into yesterday's mastermind with a black bag over my head? So cameras on means energy, means connection. I see you, you see me. We're here together, one for all and all for one. So those are my expectations, and I want you to grow. I want to see you implementing. I want you reaching out to Thalia and asking questions. I don't care who your broker team leader is. I don't care where you work, your logo, your brand, your company. It doesn't matter to me. You are part of the industry, and I'm here to make an impact in the industry. And that's what we talked about yesterday. Yesterday, we talked about raise your hand, those of you that want to be difference makers. Raise your hand, those that want to make an impact. Well, you know what? The only way to make an impact is by leading others to receiving something that's going to change their lives. And if you make more money, drop it in the chat. How would that change your life? Go ahead and light up the chat. If you made $30,000 more before the end of the year, okay, how would that feel? What would happen? What would you be able to do? You got to know these things, because if you don't know what you're looking for, you're not going to know when you find it or where to find it. So drop it in the chat. How would that change your life? What would that be like? High expectations. Don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid to be humble. Don't be afraid to just say, shoot, I am like freaking broke. Let me tell you, when I got into real estate, I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. I was broke, busted, and disgusted. I was so frustrated with my life. I didn't even know which way was up. But all I wanted to do was do something big. Fast forward 23 years, look at where I am. And you can do better, bigger, bolder, more brilliant things than I have done. But you got to know where you're going. Number 2, this is where the rubber meets the roads, my friend. And I will go over this productivity model when I start at every session, because you have to know this like the palm of your hands, or like your name, your date of birth, your social security number, whatever you know well, you have to know this. The know-how. You know why most trainings don't work is because they tell us what to do, but we don't know how to do it. Write that down. I need to learn how to do this. They showed me, here are the ingredients to making money, but nobody is showing me how. So there's 3 ways that you're going to take everything that I teach you, and you are going to learn and discover the how. The how brings you the money now. The how takes you to more money now. When do you want more money? A year from now? 3 years from now? Most agents are 1 quarter away from leaving the industry right now. Most agents are 90 days away from saying, forget this, I got to go full-time in my job, or I can't give up my full-time job, and that, out of sight, out of mind. So the how, I'm going to teach you, and you're going to commit to practicing. That's where the rubber meets the road. Your biggest challenge is yourself. You're going to commit to practicing, because practice makes perfect. You play at the level that you practice. How well are you practicing? Because I can give you all the ingredients. I can give you, what you need to do. I can tell you what you need to do, but you have to find the how, and the how comes from practice. So you're going to test it. You're going to test it. Okay. You're going to test it. You don't have to put a huge goal that you're going to like, oh, I'm going to talk to 55 people a day. No. Stop it. Stop hallucinating. Stop hallucinating. Our industry is full of brokers, teachers, mentors, trainers, workshop leaders that the higher we tell them the goal, the more excited they get. That's not me. This is not traditional. This is very organic, very different, very, kosher. It's just, this is what works. I've seen it work. It works. I've seen people leave their jobs because I taught them this and it works. I have no doubt this works if you work it. So don't make a goal. Your homework is, don't set up an expectation or a goal that is going to give you the fuzzy wuzzies and the butterflies in your belly. No, write this down. It's time to get real. It's time to get real. So you have to be realistic. When you test it, you have to be realistic. When you set your goals, you have to be realistic. So for example, what would be a good goal for someone that hasn't had a closing this year, or for someone that's had 2 closings this year or 3 closings this year? What would be a realistic goal? 1 closing a month. That's it. 1 closing a month. Focus on 1 closing a month. Because when you get to closing 1 deal every month and getting a paycheck every month, now you can activate the law of compound effect. Write that down. Compound effect. That's where I'm going to take you. Words, small hinges open big doors. Swing big doors. Small hinges. You look at a door, you see how little a hinge is on a door compared to the door. I mean, the door could be 8 feet tall, but the hinges, how they're small, right? That's what I'm going to teach you how to do. Micro commitments. Write that down. Micro commitments. What is it that you're really going to commit to? So let me tell you right now, there's a lot of people in the industry that are in the real estate industry that are involved in real estate. They're involved in real estate. They meet people. Oh, I'm a real estate agent. Here's my card. Yeah, I got my real estate license. That's involved in real estate. You want to write this down, because I'm going to teach you how to shift your mindset throughout these next weeks. You got to start changing the dialect. You need to decide, are you going to continue to be involved in real estate? Because the people that are making the big bucks, they're not involved. They are committed to real estate. There's a big difference. There's a huge difference. Drop it in the chat. What do you think the difference is between being involved in real estate and being committed to real estate? And that's where the majority of the people are involved in real estate. They got a real estate license. That only makes them legal to get paid. I tell my students at the academy when they're getting their real estate license, let me tell you something. The only thing this license is going to do for you is make you legal to get paid, so you don't end up with a 3rd-degree felony for getting money and being unlicensed. But I want to take you guys
Did she froze?
I thought it was me.
I thought it was
And then I
me.
see everyone else moving. So I'm like, oh no, I think it's Lucy.
Hey, Lucy. Hold on, let me text her. She might have to come in and out.
And she probably doesn't know that she's frozen. Oh, we lost her.
She's frozen and lost.
Okay, she'll probably come back in. Let me pause.
So going from the just having the information to learning the information to setting the right expectation. Let me break it down a little further, because remember, I promised you that, and that this is where I give you permission and I ask you to help me, to help you, to help everyone that is connected here. Okay. And if you joined us and I haven't said hello, just drop a hi in the chat. And if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, and this is going to be very interactive. I promise you that I'm going to dissect a lot of the concepts. You've gone to trainings that maybe your broker who's a rock star, your team leader who's phenomenal and amazing, and they're closing so many deals, have told you, but they haven't shown you. And most importantly, they haven't given you the how. So what you're going to learn is going to be the anatomy of everything that is going to make you a producer. And if you've got a team, you need to teach your people this. Because otherwise you're going to end up like some of the people I've been speaking with. They say, Lucy, I've got 9 people on my team and only 2 are producing. And I'm dying over here. I'm dying over here, right? When you test it, this is where you need to understand, okay, so what is going to be my goal? And make it a very realistic goal. For example, don't tell me you're going to be talking. I mean, you can tell me anything, right? You're the CEO. I just told you. I think that's where we were at. You are the CEO. You're the Elon Musk. You're the Jeff Bezos. You are the Grant Cardone. You're the Donald Trump. You are the, the CEO, whoever you follow, or whoever you feel you want to be. Oprah, Ed Milet. There's so many people that have been successful at what they do at very high execution levels. That has to be you. But they all began at the bottom. So focus on one transaction. If you are at, 1 transaction a quarter, focus on 1 transaction a month. If you are at 1 transaction a month consistently, then take it to the 2nd level, take it to the 3rd level. When I had my team, we were closing 12 transactions a month. And this was in 2002. We did not have the economy or the price points that we have now. This was in 2002. But 12 transactions is 12 transactions. That's why a lot of times, like I said at the beginning, you have to know what $1 million, 1 million volume, $1 million in volume represents in real dollars. Because when you look at, for example, agents in Naples, I mean, they could be selling $15 million in volume, but yeah, the properties over there are all $5 million each, right? So that means they only really had 3 closings. So the more closings you have, that's what gives you the level of knowledge and experience that you need. You guys are with me? So you're going to test it, and this is what it's going to look like. You're going to break it down to bite-sized pieces. How many conversations do I want to have each day? Because it's all about conversations, the conversations that you have each day. And there's different ways of doing it. Once you test it, you're going to show up the following week and you're going to contest it. You're going to contest it. You're going to say this worked and this didn't work. That is why agents are not growing in production. They're not testing it. So I can teach you one concept, but we are not a cookie cutter. We're not a cookie cutter generation. What works for Jamie or for Elizabeth, what works for Danielle, it may not work for other people. That's where you got to come back, because you know what? Not everyone is the LeBron James of real estate. Not everyone is able to do the same thing. So there's a place where we start, but the journey is you have to find your mojo. You have to find your strength so that when you are in front of sellers, you are in front of buyers, you know your strength. Who's with me? Thank you so much, Daniel. Give me a thumbs up. I like that. Let's make this interactive. You guys are the superstars of this productivity coaching. So give me your feelings, put it in the chat, give me your emojis. I love that. I'm here for you, okay? So here we go. The 3rd area, or pillar, like I called it in 2018, the 3rd pillar is accountability. Oh my God, this is the game changer. Let me ask you a question. How many of you, and Talia's gonna, because I'm looking at the screen so I can't see everyone. Talia's gonna help me. How many of you put a number 2 if you are a team leader, if you're leading people, and give me a number 3 if you are solo agent. So a number 2 in the chat if you are a team leader. Let me see, let me open up the chat. Okay, Yaneli, awesome. If you're a team leader, give me a number 2. If you're solo, Danielle, excellent. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, thank you. All right, everybody else, 1, 3. If you're a solo agent, okay. Here's the game changer. Here's where I can prove to you that you and I have failed because we haven't had this. We've been missing this link. Brokers don't want to do it. They get too busy. Leaders don't want to do it. They don't want to go through the stomach ache. They are too busy. And it's uncomfortable. But this is where the rubber meets the road. Accountability. That when you show back up, we debrief. Let me just tell you something. Why do you think the FBI, the police, the CIA and big corporations, Fortune 500 corporations, take their people, and after they do something that brought or was supposed to bring a high level result, they debrief it. Because when you debrief it, it is, let me tell you, I got certified. I'm going on my 3rd certification with Tony Robbins. And one of the stories that I heard, and I was like, wow, this is why this works, is because after every event, he and his team debrief, and they use what we call, I'm going to ask Talia to put it in the chat, the SWOT, SWOT. Give me an emoji and a thumbs up if you guys know what SWOT is. You're going to learn a lot of stuff. You're going to learn a lot about the real estate business. You're going to go from being an agent to being an entrepreneur in real estate. You're going to go from being just somebody with a license to being really the CEO of your real estate business. So let me look here. Give me a thumbs up if you've ever heard of SWOT. Okay, it's, drop it in the chat what it means, Talia, so everybody starts to understand our lingo. When you go talk to a for sale by owner, when you go talk to a buyer, when you do a buyer consultation, and I'm going to teach you how to do the best buyer consultation, you're going to be a rock star with buyers. You're not going to be no tour guide. We don't get paid for putting, we don't, unless you're working for Uber, unless you're working for Uber, you shouldn't just be putting anybody in your car. And nowadays, we don't even put them in the car. Don't even have them follow you. I'm going to teach you how to work like a professional. You work like a professional, you work like a pro, you make pro money. You work like an amateur, you make amateur money. You work like this is a hobby, you're going to make Hobby Lobby money. Okay, you're going to decide. And again, if you're a team leader, you got to get your people on board with this because they're depleting you. Right? They're hanging on to your coattail. And if they're dead weight or they're not climbing with you or they're not rowing with you, oh my God, you're going to be out of gas. And if you're a solo agent, hey, it's up to you. So accountability is you debriefing, us debriefing. I'm going to put you guys in breakout rooms. You're going to debrief with somebody you may not know and talk about, okay, listen, so what happened? You said you were going to be talking to X amount of people. What got in the way? You know, what held you back? How do you feel about this? What are you learning about yourself? Like nobody teaches us how to run our real estate like a business. So the accountability part is, it's the glue. It's the glue to productivity and people don't know it. That's why everything is always falling apart because we don't have glue. Are you guys with me? Raise your hand if you're with me, if you're catching this, if you catch my drift. Okay, for those of you that got your cameras off, I'm going to encourage you to turn them on. But if you can't turn them on for whatever reason, then just, give me a thumbs up. So you implement it and you have to have someone give you feedback. You know why? Because you and I have blind spots. So maybe you talk to that buyer, but you didn't ask enough questions. Open up your mics and tell me, who controls the conversation? The person asking the questions or the person answering the questions? Open up your mics real quick.
Asking the questions.
Thank you. So how good are you at asking questions? Asking questions is a skill set. And we don't have that skill set because we get into real estate and somebody else open up your mic and tell me who normally is asking the questions.
The client.
Yeah. So who's in control of the deal? The agent or the client?
The
You got
client.
to shift that right away. You have to shift. You got to be like, you know what? No, I need to be in control. So this is where the accountability comes in. The feedback. What did you ask? If you don't ask enough questions, you're not going to dig deeper. I'm going to teach you how to dig deeper. I'm going to teach you how to really find the motivation in that for sale by owner and that expired. I'm going to teach you how to select your clients and not just be a jack of all trades for everybody, a one size fits all. Do you think customers really want to work with a one size fits all? No. I don't like wearing clothes that is a one size. Maybe the last thing I put on that it was one size fits all was, I don't know, maybe leggings. I don't know. I don't even remember. Like imagine one of those Armani, tailor made, custom made, fit to size, suits versus a JCPenney one size fits all. Who do you want to be? Who do you represent? Who are you to your people? right? So the feedback, and then you have to be open to positive feedback. Okay, you know what? This is probably where you fumbled. This is where you missed the mark. And then you go back and you repeat. That's how you play the game of real estate. That's how you play this game so that you can be in it to win it. And then last but not least, we have our last pillar. And then I'm going to ask you guys to, let me move this here. This thing is not letting me move. Okay, here we go. The last pillar, which is productivity. Write this in your notes. Learn this today. Never forget it, because this is the secret sauce that a lot of people are missing. This is the active ingredient right here. I'm going to give it to you. Accountability is the glue. Write it down. Accountability is the glue. It holds your production together. Having someone to hold you accountable, having someone to debrief with, you holding your people accountable, you debriefing with your people, you huddling with your leaders, or you huddling with a running partner. That is the glue. But the active ingredient is the productivity pillar. And here's where I want you to write this down. Divorce your results. You're too focused on the results, and get married with the process. If you marry the process, the results will come. If you marry the process, the results will come. Write that down. If I get me and my people to marry the process, what is the process? What is the process for us closing more deals? What is the process for us talking to a for sale by owner and an expired? What is the process for us doing buyer consultations? What is the process for us doing absolutely everything? Listen, I am part of a coaching session with Dan Beer. If you don't know Dan Beer, go look him up, follow him. You got to start following people that are playing big, mega level players, high level executors. And we don't have many of those in Southwest Florida. I'm sorry to say, they're not. Everybody's like a little bit comme ci, comme ça, you know, just enough to get by. We do have, I'm talking about billion-dollar volume producers. To me, that is a high level producer. Raise your hand if you're with me. Multi-billion-dollar real estate volume producers. Like, you can be at that level if you wanted to. So Daniel Beer, he is the number one in San Diego real estate team leader by production. And this is what they teach, and this is what they do. You divorce your results and you marry the process. Because if you just focus on the result, for example, I'm going to use Talia. So Talia, how was the open house? Talia, open up your mic. We're going to do a quick role play. Talia, how was the open house?
It was
Did it
good.
go that well?
It was good. It went well.
Yeah. So let's say it didn't go well. Let's talk about the real life struggles of real estate agents. Talia, how was that open house?
Oh, I only had one person come in and they weren't really interested, or they're working with an agent already.
Okay. Oh, they were working with someone already? Okay. Tell me about the process you follow when people walk in the door. Can you break that down for me? Do you have that?
Yeah, so I welcomed them in. I gave the flyer with the information, and then I told them a little bit about the house, and I let them roam around. And
Okay, excellent. All right.
yeah, I told them that I was there to help if they needed any additional help.
Okay. So do you feel it worked, or you feel it didn't work?
Kind of after they told me they were already working with an agent, I kind of deflated a little bit, because I'm
Okay.
like,
And so how many open houses did you do in the last month?
this is my second one.
Okay, so you're doing 2 a month. Are you doing that consistently month after month, or do you just had a big open house month?
Here and there, I'm doing open houses.
Okay. Do you feel they work, or they really don't work?
They work. I feel like I've had a couple people come in my open houses
Did
before.
you get closings?
Yes.
How many closings have you had from open houses?
I've had one closing.
In 7 months?
Yes.
So you feel they working good?
I feel like it could work if I work it.
So the question is, do you think your open houses and the way you're doing it, is it working at a high level?
No.
Okay. What do you think is missing? Because you're telling me you're doing 1 or 2 a month. You had one closing in 7 months.
Mhm.
So what do you think is missing?
Consistency.
Okay. So then knowing that, how do you feel about your business now?
I mean, I feel like it could be better.
Okay. Do you feel satisfied with one closing in 7 months from an open house?
No.
Okay. So who would you want to be then? Who would you rather be? Someone closing how many deals out of open houses?
10.
Okay. So that would be how many a month?
That would be maybe twice.
1 to
Maybe
2 a month?
Yeah, no. Maybe 2 times the amount. So
No,
having
no,
like,
let's break it down. Let's break it down to bite-sized pieces, to gummy bear pieces, right? I love gummy bears. So you've done one closing in 7 months because you're doing 1 or 2 open houses a month, right?
Mhm.
And you're saying that, I mean, you did good. Good to you means one closing from open houses in 7 months, right? Am I hearing you correctly?
Yes.
Okay, but then the question is that the best you can do, or who do you really want to be with this? And now you're saying you want to really do 10? Is it 10 closings in 7 months from open houses?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that really where you'd want to be?
Yes.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how much would you really want to be there?
9.
A
Or
9.
no,
Okay,
10.
what
I
would
wanna
make,
be
what
10.
would you get, what would get you to a 10? What would get you to wanting to be at 10 closings in 7 months out of 10?
Just going all out.
Okay, and so at what level do you feel you've played now that you've only done 1 or 2 open houses a month and you've had 1 closing from open houses in 7 months? What level would you honestly say you've played at? Be honest with yourself.
Probably 3.
Okay, and what's gotten in the way from you getting to that 9?
Implementation.
Okay, what does that mean?
So actually putting it on, putting it on the schedule, doing it and doing it consistently instead of 1 or 2, a month, maybe 1 or 2 a week at least.
Okay, and so now that you can look back and see the difference, what stopped you from doing 1 or 2 a week?
I guess my level of commitment.
Okay, what does that mean?
I did not commit to the process completely. So, it was 1 or 2, and then I had some results, some here and there, and then I kind of, wasn't as consistent as it should have been.
So how do you feel about that?
Not good.
What does that mean?
It means that I could have done better. I could have, it's definitely like, how do you say? I got like I felt defeated, and then I just stopped doing it overall. So then it wasn't as consistent. So it would come and go, and it doesn't feel really good.
This is what's happening in our industry. Thank you, Talia.
That was a
Agents
role
have
play,
no
right?
clue why they are where they're at. Nobody's helping them find the reasons why they're at where they're at. They're waking up every morning wondering, what am I going to do today? They're stuck in their homes, okay, with no atmosphere of growth, productivity, business mindset. And so that's why the last pillar is so important. You must divorce the results. Okay. She thought she was doing good because she had 1 closing in 7 months. And when I helped her dissect this, no, the open houses 1 or 2 a month are not working. What is the process you do want to follow? And that's what I'm going to help you guys discover. What is the process? Oh, so the process is 1 or 2 a week. Oh, so 1 or 2 a week, right? Let's say it's 2, would be 8 a month. 7 months later, you would be telling me that you have done over 50 open houses. Could you imagine the amount of closings? Instead of just 1 in 7 months, you could have been at least at 5. Let's break down the numbers. At a $9,000 commission, somebody tell me how much is one closing in 7 months, $9,000 versus 5 closings in 7 months, which would be around $50,000. Where do you want to be? So this is why this pillar is so important, and it's so important that you understand it, right? And I'm laying down the foundation because mastery, here is mastery. Mastery. This is, mastering real estate, the Prodigy's path to success. Mastery means you master one thing. What is that one thing you're going to master? Okay. You can't tell me open houses don't work and you've done, one a month. You can't tell me for sale by owners don't work and you've never knocked on a door. You can't tell me expireds don't work and you don't do them consistently. We can't say anything doesn't work if we don't do it consistently. So I'm in no rush. When I coach, right? When I teach, I am here. We are here on purpose. We're here to discover and to learn what are the strengths we have, what are the weaknesses we have, what do I need to change right away? So today we got through the productivity model, but I think that if you take these 4 pillars as of today and you say, okay, so what is my expectation? What is going to be my expectation? Let's get back to my expectation. So my goal, you know what? Set a realistic goal. Help your people set a realistic goal. It's not 55 contacts a day. They're not going to do it. It's 5 contacts a day. Maybe it's 2 contacts a day. Let me show you the power of the compound effect. 5 contacts a day, 5 days a week would give how many contacts a week? 25 contacts, right? We've got people doing 0 contacts a day. When I say contacts, Talia, what does contacts mean?
Actually speaking with the person and having a conversation.
Conversations, yes. So write that down. Contacts equals conversations. Okay, so I'm going to set you up to succeed on the first pillar. So how many conversations, and I'm going to have a day, ask your people, listen, how many conversations do you want to have? The moment somebody tells you 10, 20, 40, 50, break, you know what? Don't set them up for failure. There's so many of us. I was one of them in the past when I didn't know any better, that I would set my people up for failure. I would set them up for failure because I would say, oh my God, good. You're going to talk to 55 people a day. And they were like, yeah, I'm going to talk to 55 people a day. And the truth is they weren't even talking to one person a day. So set a realistic goal where you can literally help the people. Make it simple. Set them up for success. When you set someone up for success, and they divorce the results and they marry the process, then they're going to start winning. Your homework is to focus on the skill sets. Where are the skill sets? And if you're not practicing on a daily basis, like any other champion, like any other winner, then there's a place of lack with you alone or with your people, because that's going to build confidence. When you build confidence, now you're ready to get in the game. So these 4 pillars are going to be helping you how to develop the most important things that are going to help you to be able to level up. We got through the first session. These are going to be 45 minutes, 1 hour maximum session. So I want to open it up to questions. I want to open it up to questions. All questions are valid. All questions are good. Comments, input, feedback. Who wants to go first? No questions. So right in the chat. What was one out of today? You can stop the recording. Yeah.